and something I haven't even been able to share with Greg yet, so you guys know. We just found out that Travis Daniels sustained a concussion in yesterday's practice. It was diagnosed, and so he will miss our game tomorrow night. And his status for our game on Saturday will be up in the air based on how he comes back from that symptomatically here over the next few days. IJ, after the game against UMKC, told our trainer that he had a pain in his toes. We have another turf toe. He wasn't able to practice yesterday. He's getting a steel insole put into the bottom of his shoe, exactly like Malik's when he had the same issue. And his status is still questionable based on how he's able to move with that today. He may try to go on a little bit just to see how he responds with that steel insert. We have a specialist coming in that's supposed to insert that in his shoe this morning at 10:30 before we practice at 11. We'll see how that works out. Questions?
Then when you look at the game at UMKC, close game towards the end, and then you came back to the lead, what needs to happen for you guys to be able to close a game out like that?
You know what, I mean, in that game, Michael, we really had opportunities going back and forth. I mean, I watched that game 4 different times. And the biggest problem we have to do is we've got to do a better job defensively. I mean, we've got to be better so we're not down 7 with 4 minutes to go. We were in miraculous recovery with 2 and 1s, and Q did a great job leading that, coming back. But we really took bad shots down the stretch with the lead or with the game tied. I mean, rush shots, shots that not understanding how to work the ball. And, we had the ball up 3 with about 2:30 to go and took a shot, right away, a bad shot that led to a wide open 3. So we've got to take better shots. But I got to do a better job utilizing our bench. I thought I did a very poor job reviewing the film and not using Q more, not using Fred more, because our defensive intensity is just not good enough. We've got to play harder and play less minutes throughout our team. Now that's going to be a little difficult here going into tomorrow night. We're going to have to make some adjustments because we know Travis isn't playing. And for example, like with IJ, I thought IJ played tired, and it was understandable. He missed Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the week going into UMKC. Practiced, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then he practiced Wednesday, Thursday. I think he missed the previous. He missed 4 days in a row, and you could see it in his conditioning. I played him too many minutes, and that was my fault. But we had a really hard-spirited practice yesterday. I really felt good about the intensity of our practice, and we'll have a shorter one today. And we're having to get better at that end. They shot 54% and way too many points in the paint. If you look at the game against UMKC, they scored 36 points, I believe it was, or 30 in the paint. So way too many layups still.
Is Elijah kind of getting close to where you might could play him, or where's he coming?
You know what? He maybe forcing his reaction. He's still got to get in basketball shape. He's not close to being able to get up and down, back and forth for more than a couple minutes in a real game before he would be tuckered out. We had him out in practice yesterday to get tired. So it's a big adjustment going from being a football player to being a basketball player, just in terms of the conditioning alone. And that's his biggest thing in order to be able to help us at all in games, is get himself in a basketball condition to be able to run up and down the floor. And we're playing a team, for example, tomorrow night that is averaging 85 points, and their number one thing is running up and down the floor with incredible athletes and size.
Were you encouraged with the way your freshmen played in their first road game?
I thought that Q really did a good job late in the game and really came in and gave us a great lift. And Malik got us off to a good start with some good 3-point shooting early on, in particular. And so, both those kids are getting better and improving. And I'm excited about both of them and their future.
You mentioned you reviewed the game 4 times. Is that normal, or were you looking for different aspects in each review?
You know what, when I lose a game or we lose a game, yeah, I like to study it really good, and so I watched it 4 different times, because you're always, every time you watch a game, as, you know, as I do, you always see something, one other little thing. And the reason I do that is because we sat down with the team on Monday morning and watched the game in 2 hours and 45 minutes, going back and forth with every detail, and seeing our missed blockouts and seeing the things that we've got to get better at. And we got outboarded by 1 in that game, and a big part of that was because we missed so many shots. You know, our attack of the zone was not good. We really did not attack the zone the way we had hoped we would in terms of getting the ball to high post. And part of that was, you know, having IJ out of the practices because we really wanted to utilize him there, and that's something I've got to rethink now because he is so small there. But we've got to get better at feeding the post and getting the ball to high post. That's what you have to do against almost any kind of zone.
With Travis out, who do you envision kind of taking up his minutes?
Well, it'll give Falou more of an opportunity, number one. I mean, we're with the team we're playing tomorrow, they play really big. I mean, they start a 7'3" center and they come off the bench with a 6'10" guy, and then they come in with a 7'4" guy. So they have size, which is a good game for him to match up in. And I talked to him after our UMK, said we need to use him because he gives us energy. And so I'm looking for him to play more minutes. And then we've got I think Johnny will play more minutes, and I think that our bench as well, the perimeter players, whether it be Fred and Q, will definitely play more minutes.
Do you know who will get the start yet, or?
Hey, you know, we're just trying to formulate. I just found out about Travis literally like half an hour ago.
Right.
You talked about him a little bit in a couple of your comments, but can you break down Florida State a little further for us with what the threats they present?
Yeah, well, you know, they have 2 outstanding freshmen. You know, Bacon, basically, these guys are tremendous players. The one's averaging 18 point something, and the other one's averaging, you know, close to that, 16, 17 points a game. They really get up and down. They're really going to pressure with their man-to-man defense. You know, he does a great job coaching and has wherever he's been in Leonard Hamilton over the years. And their number one thing is they play good man-to-man defense. They have great length. But their number one thing that really concerns me is their transition offense. We've really got to be committed to getting back in transition and getting our defense set. If we don't have our defense set, those athletes running at you and attacking the rim, it can be a long night. And you've seen that in some of their games in studying their film. So, you know, we've got to do a really good job. And then with the boards, I mean, they're so big. And the one thing they do defensively is they get out and pressure you, and then they full front the post. So, you know, Gavin's going to have to work very hard just to get touches against them.
How has Falou come along in practice? I know his biggest thing coming into this season was just staying out of foul trouble. How have you seen that kind of improve from him?
You know, for him, he's just, you know, he brings good energy defensively. He does get into foul trouble. You know, we saw that in our early scrimmages and games. You know, he's got to get better at catching the ball and finishing around the basket. But I mean, my whole thing for him is just to be aggressive, to err. If he makes mistakes, let's make them because we're being so aggressive. So that's how we need Falou to play.
Any other questions?
How has Johnny kind of developed as that post player? I know he's comfortable on the perimeter, but how has he developed his post game too, especially with Travis kind of being out for?
Well, he's not going to score in the post. That's
Right.
not. So if you're, I mean, he's going to defend in the post, and he's going to do the same thing. He had a pretty solid outing in our last game. He took a big charge late in the game that gave us a chance to have the ball back with the game tied, and we turned it over, trying to again do it on our own a little bit rather than, you know, be a little more sharing. And but I think think Johnny really works hard and wants to help his team and really cares about his team and his teammates, and it's evident in how he gets out there and plays and competes. So he's gonna have definitely more opportunity here when you look at our game coming up, and he is working hard to try to block out and help us on the boards.
This is a game where Gavin needs to kind of bounce back, especially with Travis out, and have a big game for you guys to be successful.
Yeah, well, we need Gavin to be successful every night.
Right.
I mean, for us to have success, I mean, there's no question. It starts with him. We want to play through him. And this is going to be a challenge for him because they full front the post. Very few teams do that with a 7-footer. I mean, usually 7-footers, they're trying to get in front of them and use all their weak side. So we're going to have to be smart, take good shots, and really do a good job of getting back in transition to have a chance against Florida State, who's, you know, from where they were a year ago to now, they're a much improved ball club, and this will be a team that will be in the NCAA tournament, very much like Miami.